Hey, welcome everybody and welcome to Coin Library. I'm your host AZ and today we got a bunch of big news today. So let's get into it. See, here at Coin Library, we'd love to help educate you and get you to become aware of some of the big fundamental lessons there are to learn when it comes to making money in this cryptocurrency space. So first and foremost, I gotta say, today's lesson is gonna be on this one statement, which is, don't just listen to what the successful say, watch what they do and emulate that, because what they say and what they do, you're going to find are two different things today. So let's get started. First and foremost, as you all know, back in 2017, the head of JP Morgan, CEO Jamie Dimon, called Bitcoin a fraud and said that it would eventually blow up and go to nothing. Even more recently, in October of the last year, in 2021, he bashed Bitcoin again, calling it worthless. He absolutely despises it for whatever reason. Now again, remember, today's lesson is to listen to what they say, but really pay attention to what they do, right? So while Jamie Dimon is saying all these things about cryptos and Bitcoin, JP Morgan has he's a huge skeptic, as we've just kind of, figured out together. JP Morgan, the bank, the whole institution, is now offering their customers cryptocurrencies to buy and sell and exchange. Very interesting. As you can see, this is what the rich really do. And especially right now, with cryptocurrency being so early, they want to make sure that the prices are low so that they can keep buying more at these low prices. Because since it's the beginning of the gold rush, they want to make sure they get in with as much money as they can, so that when it's a very mature space, say the market cap becomes several trillion versus the 1-2 trillion it's fluctuating between now, when it becomes 10, 20, 30 trillion, then they're going to be absolutely loaded, and they don't want to miss this, right? And they know how much potential this space has. If you've been paying attention to what's happening in Russia, Russians have said that banning Bitcoin is the same as banning the internet. One of the ministers says, it doesn't make sense, right? It's so powerful. This stuff is unstoppable. It's not stopping anytime soon, right? So JP Morgan, again, they recently unveiled a quantum resistant blockchain network. Now, to make a quantum resistant blockchain network, that's very expensive. Think of how much money they're pouring into this. That means they're really serious about this stuff, and they get how valuable this is. This is a very valuable technology, and it's just about to explode in the next 5-10 years. This is only the beginning, guys. As you can see, especially with the metaverse just starting off, JP Morgan has also become the first major bank in the metaverse to take advantage of this $1 trillion opportunity. Think about that. He says Bitcoin and cryptos are worthless, they're going to zero, but in the back end, he's continuously pouring money into it and continuously investing into it and getting ready for what's to come. They know how big this is, right? So this is Charlie Munger back in 2018. Listen to what Charlie Munger said.
Bitcoin is worthless artificial gold, which if it succeeded would facilitate a lot of illicit activity. Now, that is not something I think the world needs.
Right, very interesting. 2018, this is what Charlie Munger said. What about more recently? Let's take a look at what he said more recently.
Another question that I got a lot of. I'll ask this one from Carl Moscatello, who says, crypto is a $2 trillion asset class. Are you willing to admit you missed something?
Well, I certainly didn't invest in crypto. I'm proud of the fact I've avoided it. It's like, some venereal disease or something. I just regard it as...
That's quite interesting. He calls it a venereal disease. In other in other interviews, Warren and Munger have also called it rat poison. I'm sure many of you have seen that. At the same exact time, while this is happening, Warren Buffett, in the back end, invested $1 billion in a Bitcoin-friendly bank while dumping his Visa and MasterCard stocks and positions. That's very interesting because these guys are really, really big on buying fundamental companies. And as a lot of you may know this about older investors, they want to invest in something they can really understand, something they can figure out. And even if they're late to the party, they're late to the party. That's what Warren Buffett did with Apple. He didn't understand it. He ended up buying it at very high valuations, but whatever, right? He's Mr. Warren Buffett. He's still going to make money. He knows what he's doing. But that's what the thing is about the older generations. They're afraid of change. They just want things to stay the same. But at the same time, these guys are super smart. They're multi-billionaires. They know exactly what's happening. And why do you think they would dump Visa and MasterCard stocks? Well, here's another multi-billionaire, Chamath Palihapiya. This is what he says about Visa and MasterCard.
My biggest business loser for 2022 is Visa and MasterCard and traditional payment rails and the entire ecosystem around it. So I think that this is the year you can put on what probably will be the most profitable spread trade of my lifetime, which is to be short these companies. And that anybody that basically lives off of this 2 or 3% tax and be long, well thought out Web3 crypto projects that are rebuilding payments infrastructure in a completely decentralized way. If you read the white paper,
right, these new technologies, they're very powerful and they're unstoppable at this point in time. So as Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, two multi-billionaires, and Chamath Palihapiya understand this is what they're doing. They're straight up shorting Visa and MasterCard. They're done with it, and they're going long on these crypto projects. They know they're going to explode. Another interesting thing to understand, a very big fund in Silicon Valley named Sequoia Capital launches their own crypto token fund. So many of you may not have heard of Sequoia Capital. I've been in the tech space for a very long time, over 10 years, and I'm very familiar with these guys. These guys are one of the OGs in the game. They're big, and they've recently opened up a $500 to $600 million fund for liquid crypto investments. These guys really know what they're doing. If you guys have never heard of them, let me give you a quick tour of who these guys are. Sequoia Capital. These guys started with all the big companies from the early days. If you look at some of their new companies, you'll see some big names, DoorDash, Apple, and that's just the start of it. But if you look back a little bit, they started with Apple in 1978. These guys really know what they're doing. They got in early, and I'm talking about real early. If we look a little bit further, what I'm trying to really get to show you something that's very interesting that I always, kind of admired this fund for. I thought they were kind of like a boss fund for doing this. Google is one of their partners. They started with them in 1999. They're one of their earliest investors. Sequoia Capital is a monstrous powerhouse. Again, going back to this spotlight here, I want to show you real quick though here. Nubank. I want you to just remember this name real quick, okay? I'm going to go back to this article here. If we read here, to get more specific, Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, dumped a portion of its Visa and MasterCard holdings and increased exposure in Nubank. That's the new Bitcoin-friendly bank. They're called Nubank, the largest fintech bank in Brazil, and it's very popular among the country's Bitcoin investors. And guess what? These guys have also bought into Nubank. These guys know what they're doing. Sequoia Capital, I've shown you the roster of companies they've been with. They're a monster powerhouse in the industry. Okay, guys, so I want you to think long term for crypto. These numbers, they mean nothing. One day, these names are going to shift around. The numbers will be different. We're preferably higher. That's where we're aiming for, right? It's really exciting, guys. It's really exciting. Be long term on this. Don't fall for those get rich quick, overnight millionaire scams people are trying to sell you. Take your time, learn. And that's what Coin Library is about. We're here to analyze coins. We're here to give you the freshest news and help educate you and build a community over this. All right, guys? So I will talk to you guys very soon. If you found this video informational and useful, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification button. All right, my name's AZ. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys real soon. All right, have a great day.